with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
Jackson.
We're giving away life-changing cash at Jackson. Spin the super prize wheel, and you can win up to $1 million. Fridays and Saturdays, 5 to 10 p.m. Sundays, 2 to 7 p.m.
Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
Buckle up, because we're also giving away an RV this Memorial Day. Earn entries now playing your favorite games, and be here 8 p.m. for your chance to win. Let's go.
Let's go.
You know the songs, you know the sound. Now you can hear them live at Jackson. Eagles tribute band One of These Nights is live June 13th. And our tribute series is packed with iconic rock. Journey Revisited, Skinnerd and Friends, CCR, and more.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's rock. The music and the wins are waiting at Jackson.
Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes. Gubruds.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrud and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
At the Y, strength means something different. It means people of all ages being together. It means you can be swishing the game-winning shot, learning to plie in first position, Jabbing, crossing, and hooking a punching bag. Canoeing in the lake at summer camp. Donating food for your neighbors. Watching your son learn about water safety in the pool. 175 years later, there's still no place like this place. Get involved at your Y. Learn more at ymca.org.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento. Sacktown. And welcome in
Grant Napear.
How you been? You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Good afternoon, everybody. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today, and thank goodness that the Sacramento Kings season is over. What an absolute nightmare of a season. 22-60, 15 wins at home, 7 on the road. The worst point differential in the West. What a disaster. What an absolute disaster. We'll talk about it. What do you think about Sam Amick's report? Sam, of course, does an outstanding job for The Athletic. He was the first one to say that Doug Christie was going to be back for next season. I don't understand that. But then again, I don't understand a lot of things that the Sacramento Kings do. I really don't. But, I mean, I'm not really even sure how to break this down. I really don't. I don't know what Doug has done in his tenure since taking over from last year that would make anyone think he should be the head coach. I am completely 100% cognizant of all of the injuries he had to deal with this year. I don't think it was easy. I don't think that another coach would have come in here and won 35 games with this roster or 30 games. But I do think the direction of the team would be much better. I think there were many mistakes made this year. I thought the rotational mistakes were glaring. I thought the handling of players was glaringly bad. I thought the use of timeouts was really bad. The episode last week didn't help, not knowing fouling Steph Curry intentionally, although I just chalked that up to a mistake. We can all make them. So I'm not going to judge Doug Christie's tenure based on that. I'm just adding that to the list. I don't see how this organization has any stability because I don't think Doug is going to be the coach of this team for long. I think he's one bad start away next year from losing his job. I think that if the season goes south in a hurry, Doug will not be around long. And I think you're starting all over again. I just don't understand it. I really don't. But, there are a lot of things that this organization does and have done over the years that I don't understand. I mean, there's a long, long, long list, okay? Here's what I do know. For most of the year, the Sacramento Kings had the worst record in the NBA. And they end up with the 4th worst record in the league, tied with Utah. After the coin flip, one of those teams will be 4th, one of them will be 5th heading into next month's lottery. The point differential is alarming. There were so many games during the year that the Kings were completely blown out, embarrassed. I got to tell you, I might put right up at the top of the list Doug's love affair and his constant use of Russell Westbrook was, I think, number one on the list. His inability to coach Russ, his inability to see what everyone else saw, and that is Russ should not be on the floor at the end of games, was playing way too many minutes, was affecting the development of other players around him. Like, that was so glaring to me. And Doug just kept on riding him and riding him and riding him. And it made no sense. It did not make sense to most of the fans watching. It didn't make sense to Jerry Reynolds or Rhino when we did our post-game shows. It just did not make sense. And I would put that at the top of the list. I would put the inexcusable, absurd decisions around Keon Ellis and Malik Monk, second and third. I just can't believe it. I still can't believe, as we look back at this season, that any coach in the NBA would feel that their team is better without Keon Ellis and without Malik Monk. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. The treating of Domantas Sabonis after his injury was beyond comprehension to me. I mean, there's just a long list of things. And the one thing that bothers me about the fans, and I'm being brutally honest here, is those that defend Doug talk about his love for the city. Is that really what we're going to use as the criteria to see who you want to be the Sacramento Kings coach or not because he loves the Kings? Really? I mean, what are we dealing with here? Are we dealing with a professional franchise? Are we dealing with professional sports, or is this romper room? Like, what do you want as an organization? You really want a coach that loves the city? Seriously? I mean, is that where we're at right now? I mean, think about that. Do you think that Mike Brown didn't love living here? Did you see Mike Brown out on Friday nights during the football season when the Kings weren't playing? Where was Mike Brown? He was always at a high school game. He was always out and about in the community. You don't think Mike Brown loved living here? He didn't have any roots to Sacramento. He ingrained himself in the community. People talk, boy, it's so great that Mike is out and about in the community. He's not just staying in his home when he's not coaching. He's out at high school games. He's here and he's there, right? I mean, you don't think Mike Brown loved Sacramento? You think Mike Brown didn't want to succeed in Sacramento? When he was the unanimous coach of the year, the first time in NBA history that happened, and everyone was talking about how great it was to have Mike and how he was always doing this and doing that and was accessible, out and about, always shaking hands, always talking to people. I just don't understand this. I mean, if you really want to go down that road, then you know what? Go to Sac State, hire Mike Bibby to be your lead assistant coach if you're not going to replace Doug. Have him sit next to Bobby Jackson. And while you're at it, go out and get Peja Stojakovic, who's in Sacramento, and have him come back to the organization and have him sit on the bench. Might as well call Jay Will, too, and bring him back and have him sit on the bench. I mean, seriously, would you stop with the nonsense, please? It's professional sports here. You got to leave your emotions, somewhere else, all right? You don't deal with these type of thoughts when you're putting together a professional franchise, all right? Now, is it good as opposed to being bad? Yes. Okay? Is it good as opposed to being bad? Yes. But I mean, if you're using that as your criteria for having Doug back as a coach, then you're wasting my time here. You really are. So, I'm not losing sleep over this, the report by Sam Amick. I just don't understand it. That's all I'm saying. I don't understand it. And there are a lot of things, though, that I don't understand with this franchise. And I understand that Doug had a very difficult situation this year. I get that. I acknowledge that. If you don't acknowledge that, we can't have a conversation. You have to acknowledge that. You have to say, wait a minute. This was an inordinate amount of injuries. There were a lot of injuries across the NBA, though, right? How many times did we talk about previewing a game where that team didn't have so-and-so playing and the Kings didn't have so-and-so playing? But this thing, I said back in October, I can't believe, by the way, it's April and the season's over. I really can't. But when Ryan was going out to practice every day, and I kept hearing the same things over and over again from Doug, I had red flags up. And I said so on this radio show. And I said, I think this season is going to be a disaster. It was too much nonsense. It was too much rah-rah. It was too much, boy, this sounds good, so let's tell this to the media. What was said did not translate onto the court. We didn't see it translate onto the court. The offense, I never saw an offense all year. The misuse of Domantas Sabonis when he was playing was glaring to me. The ineffectiveness of Domas due to this whatever type of offense you want to call it was glaring to me. The constant usage of Russell Westbrook was a huge mistake, did not make any sense. And we can just go right on down the list. What are the bright spots of the Kings this year? Well, the first bright spot, the number one thing on the list is the season is over. That's number one, okay? The best thing about this year for the Sacramento Kings is that they're 0-0 right now. That's it. That's the best thing. The second best thing was the development of Max Reno. Now, I told you this back in September. I was with Peja Stojakovic before the Kings even began training camp. And he had watched Max play a lot when his son, Andre, was at Stanford and continued to watch him through his career. And he told me then, before Max and the Kings had even had one practice, he said to me, I would start him right out of the gate. I'm like, you're kidding me. You would start him? He goes, yeah, I would start him. I go, really? He goes, I'm telling you, the guy's going to be a heck of a player. I'm like, wow. And boy, was Peja right. So they got a nice player in Max Reno. Nick Clifford is not a starter in the NBA when I project him, but that doesn't mean he's not a player that can help you. I just don't project him as a starter. I project him as a guy that's going to be coming off the bench. And could that change? Of course it could change. But that's how I see him. If the draft were held all over again, where would the Kings be drafting Max Reno, or where would he be drafted? He'd be a top 10 pick, no question about it. Where would Nick be? You know, he'd probably be in the neighborhood of where he was taken, probably in the neighborhood. The Russell Westbrook edition made no sense to me. It still doesn't make any sense to me. And by the way, speaking of all of this, Ryan just returned from the practice facility and has a lot of sound from a lot of the vets in particular, and we will be listening to that later on in the show. Okay? So there are so many things to talk about with this team. First and foremost, it was a failure of a season. That's number one. Number two, it was a hodgepodge of a season due to all of the injuries. Third, you saw an undrafted free agent in Dylan Cardwell show that he can play in this league. That's a positive for the Sacramento Kings to go on top of Max Reno. The addition of Precious Achiuwa was a positive. Don't know what his future is in Sacramento, but if he can't play in Sacramento or doesn't play in Sacramento, then he'll play somewhere else. There were a lot of bad things that happened with Sacramento this year, too. The injuries of Keegan Murray. And when he was playing before the injuries after the initial training camp injury, meaning after that, when he came back, he was ineffective. He was inconsistent. And this was a wasted season for Keegan Murray. We'll hear from him a little bit later in the show. I'm not sure where he fits in to the big picture of this team right now. That's going to be an interesting offseason. So Cardwell, bright spot. Max Reynaud, bright spot. Devin Carter, who was buried for more than 2/3 of the season, at times looks very good. And then at times you can see that the lack of a consistent perimeter shot handcuffs him. He's tenacious. He moves up and down the floor quickly. He can get to the basket. He does some things that you really like, but it's very difficult to play guard in this league if you can't shoot the ball consistently. And that's his big issue. This offseason, like most off seasons, going to be large, going to be big. You know it, and I know it. Okay? The next big development for the Sacramento Kings will be on the 10th of May when we know the draft order. And we know that this draft looks pretty good, but you'd much rather be selecting, just like in any draft, first, second, third, or fourth. You know it and I know it. Let's not mess around. You know, if the Kings get unlucky and get the 6th or 7th pick, it is going to be doom and gloom without even knowing who the Kings will select and how that player will do. And you went through the whole season as one of the worst teams or the worst team in the league until the very end. And then in true typical Sacramento Kings fashion, you went from having the worst record in the league to the 4th or 5th worst situation in the league. Again, I don't have a problem with the players competing. That's what they get paid to do. They were being professional, and I applaud their effort in games that meant absolutely nothing. All right? You can't put it on the players. Plain and simple. You can't put it on the players. They are going out and doing their job, and I commend them for that in their will to compete. I get it. All right? They were less talented than some of the teams they were going up against. I get it. So, again, 60 losses. 60. 6-0 losses. And as I look at some of the messages coming in, and by the way, 916-779-0929, I was also hoping for a change. Disappointed Kings fan. Grant, I know you're probably not too happy that the Kings plan to bring back Doug Christie for next season. Do I see any positives from this move? The only positive is a degree of consistency, but if it's not the right ingredients to make the meal properly, it really doesn't make sense to me. It's not about being happy or not happy. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Said Russell Westbrook wants to come back to the Kings too. Mr. Jock Sniffer will want him to stay. OMG. I don't understand that. All right? Here's the stupidest message that I'm going to receive this week, so I'm going to get it out of the way in a hurry. Hey, Grant, to Doug's defense, Kings won more than 20 games, which is more than expected, and we were better than Utah and Indiana. We can argue that Doug was better coached than Will Hardy or Rick Carlisle, as those teams had better rosters than the Kings. Again, the stupidest text of the week. I got it out of the way early. All right? Grant, bringing back Christie proves that the Kings ownership is a joke. I stopped going to the games this past season and will again next season. I don't like throwing my money away on mediocrity. Dumbass Kings winning at the end, management decision. Again, I can't fault the players, all right? I can't fault the players. Their job is to go out and compete, and they did that. Just the way, I don't have a problem with it. You know, you can blame a lot of things. You can't blame the players. So we're going to hear from a lot of Sacramento Kings throughout the afternoon. Those are my general thoughts. I want to hear from you at 916-779-0929. The season is in the books. Where are you? What do you think about Doug Christie coming back? What do you think about the direction of this franchise right now? Like, are you as happy as I am that the season's over and we don't have to talk about this nonsense every day after every game? It was just an awful, awful season, and thank goodness that it is over. More to come on this, and how about the Red Hot Athletics back in Sacramento to take on the Rangers? Right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Hey, folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family-owned, locally owned, HVAC experts, serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
All right, 916-779-0929. We've got a lot of sound we're going to be listening to here in a couple of moments. We're going to start with a guy that we haven't heard from in months, and that's Domas. He did talk today. That's right. For the first time in I don't even know how long, he did make himself available to the media. We'll hear from Sabonis here in just a couple of moments. Let's get to some phone calls and start with Mac. Hello, Mac. Welcome.
Hi, Grant. How you doing?
Okay, Mac. What's up?
Well, I just wanted to talk about the Doug Christie, retaining Doug Christie. It's just, the one thing that sort of bugs me is I know that that Scott Perry, like, he inherited Doug more than him. He didn't get to choose Doug. He inherited him. And by Doug coming back this year, what I worry about is who's at the helm, who's at the wheel with this organization. And I hope, and I mean, I think we can all assume who it might be. It might be Vivek, but I really hope that's not the case. And I hope that if this is Scott Perry's vision, then I'm on board with it, because I want Scott Perry to have, you know how we said we need to judge him in 3 years? I want him to be able to have all the resources to be able to be fairly judged. But if this is a continuing trend of what we've seen over the 12 years, I don't believe this is Scott Perry's decision. And that's what makes me feel so disheartened again, is that it's just we never learn, and it's just seems to be a repeating cycle. So those are my thoughts on the retention of Doug Christie, and I hope you have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye-bye now. I don't think there's any question that this is Vivek Ranadive who made the decision to bring Doug back last year at this time after the embarrassing loss in the play-in game to the Dallas Mavericks. And I don't think there's any doubt that it's his decision this year around. But that's where I'm at. Rhino, you were at the festivities today, if I can call them that, the exit interviews. What stands out to you about everything that you listened to today?
You know, getting to talk, and by the way, happy WrestleMania week to you. Hope
I
doing
appreciate
well.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, it was the common theme of injuries, but also trying to find the positive within the negative and draw from that what you can into next season. And I think a lot of that circles around the young players, and to a degree, DeMar DeRozan kind of reinforced. I actually asked him a question, which we'll get to later, but by far the biggest thing was getting to see Domantas Sabonis and get to hear from Domantas Sabonis. Here was his comments, Grant, on the season.
Tough. It's definitely been a really tough season for me personally. You know, not being out there with the guys or being a part of the season is definitely new for me. You know, it started rough. I missed the first game, and then my second game here at home against the Lakers, that's when this injury happened. And I tried to play through it until it got to a point where it was either rehab or surgery. You guys know me. I decided to do rehab and, you know, try and get back to be out there with the guys. And ultimately it led to 6 more games and then going for surgery, you know. So definitely sad I couldn't be a part of it and not help in any way I could. But you know, on the bright side, surgery went great. Doctor was very pleased. Basically, we'll have a better knee than I did before. So I'm very happy to hear that. And rehab's going really good. My Wolverine healing powers are starting to kick in, and I feel like I'm ahead of schedule, you know, and I'm just really excited for next season, even though this one just finished, you know, I'll be ready for the start of next season and play at the all-NBA level that everyone here in Sacramento has been used to seeing me play at. And yeah, I'm going to work out really hard and be ready.
I would think the chances of him being in Sacramento, I'm going to put at less than 25%. I don't think he wants to be here. I think the organization will try to move him. And I would be very surprised, not shocked. I'd be very surprised if he's on this team at the beginning of next season. I think he'll be moved this offseason.
To a degree, it felt like Domas was almost trying to convince somebody else that's not believing in him or doesn't see it with him, because there were multiples, you guys know me, directed towards the fan base and the press there. And as you'll see as we go along, he talks about getting back to being an all NBA player a couple of times. And certainly I don't blame him for that. Speaking of which, he was asked directly about the trade rumors that went on at the deadline and his future in Sacramento and where he wants to be.
It's hard this year because, like you said, there's a lot of noise going on and no one really knows what's going to happen. We'll obviously have a high draft pick, so, you know, that also comes into play, and, you know, we trust Scott to do the right thing.
Played the wrong soundbite. Here it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty. I don't know what that feels like, but I can control. I can control what I control, and it's getting back to that All NBA player that I know I can be.
So wanting to get back to that all NBA player. We're missing one. We'll get that during the break. But I just don't see how it works, Grant, between Domas and Zach, just from a number standpoint. And if you can, would you agree with me? You have a degree more of control over Domas than you do Zach.
Yes. Yes. And the other aspect is Domas really doesn't want to be here. He can say whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah.
So he's going to be, his agent's going to be putting on a full court press to get him out of here. I think Domas thought he was going to be gone at the trade deadline, and then he wasn't. I would be very surprised if he's not moved in the offseason. So we've got a lot of other sound. You have Zach, you have Keegan, you have Russ, right? Those are some of the players we'll hear from coming up on the show today.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Don't forget to call the show. We've also got other stories going on, including the Masters from yesterday. And what a dramatic back nine. Actually, the entire 18 holes and the fluctuation on the leaderboard was amazing to watch. And when you were watching the middle of the first round on the front nine, and you saw Rory falling off from the top, and you're like, gosh, here we go again. Even though I know he was the one last year, but you were like, wait, this guy had a 6-stroke lead going into Saturday, then ended up tied. And then, the the front nine begins, and, you're getting down to the 7th hole, and now, wait, Rory's how many back? And then, the incredible birdie on 12, the par 3, the birdie on 13, and then you're thinking, wow, all right. You get to 18, 2-shot lead, no problem, and hit his worst drive of the day, was able to recover somehow to get that ball in the front bunker, and then needed to get home in 3 from there and did. What's hard about the Masters to me is that it's over. And then, I got to watch the event this week from Harbortown, and which is a great golf course and everything else. But after watching the Masters, it's like going from the Super Bowl to the Pro Bowl. It's very difficult to do. All right, let's get to some more phone calls. And we've got a lot of people on hold, so I'm going to get to you as quickly as I can. Let's start with Big Al. Al, what's going on today?
I just want to thank you for one up. Thank you. I'll keep it quick. Exciting. Rory makes it that way sometimes. I love the kids play. I mean, kid compared to me. And it just was exciting. I love to watch. I love Cam Young. I love his game. He just needs a little bit, maybe more experience. I don't know. He's not that young. So it was good. Grant, it was one of the more exciting in my opinion. And frankly, my son loves Scotty Scheffler. I said, son, you saw Saturday, you saw Sunday. He was very un-Scheffler-like in how he had improved his putting the last 2 years. He missed a lot of reasonably short putts. So there you go. He'll be back. He'll be back. It's just there's
actually, Al, when I go back and think about what I watched yesterday, who really let it slip through their fingers was Justin Rose. He had so many opportunities on that back nine. His bad chip on 12 when he was on the back and kind of flubbed it. He makes bogey there. He had an eagle putt on 13 and 3-putted. He had a real opportunity to take control of that tournament, seriously, and he let it go right through his fingers.
Yeah, he's a good player. I love watching him. He's had a couple of good major opportunities like that. A couple of good major opportunities where something, I don't know, it's hard to say what happened. And you could see he was very frustrated. He slammed his driver down. He was upset at himself. That's rough to see. But hey, as golfers, we know he made that. And then I'll give you my San Diego State Aztec. Do you know Mr. Napear, sir, in the last 8 years, so we'll go, that'd be 32 rounds. Xander Schauffele has the best scoring average stats over that time period than anybody at Augusta.
Wow, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, they brought it up on the coverage. He can't bring it home. I love to watch Xander because he's an Aztec and all that, but he also has some bad mental moments for him. So anyway, it was an exciting.
Thank you very much, Al. Appreciate it.
Someday.
Yeah.
Yep. Bye.
Yep. Take care. Speaking of the Kings, that's what Bill wants to get to. Bill, hang on. I'm going to get to you right after the break. This is the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
This is Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, Sports Talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn six-figure incomes. And importantly, Sports Talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. We'll discuss your objectives, talk about potential strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Building friendships and bonding with family. It's what people experience during a day out at Golden State Shooting Center. Only moments outside of Sacramento. Golden State Shooting Center is a favorite for those who love the sport of trap, skeet, and sporting clay target shooting. It's also where the California Youth Sport Shooting Association trains and competes. New teams are being formed, and if you've got a son or daughter in high school, they can compete for college scholarships. Learn more at goldenstateshootingcenter.com or call 916-539-8544.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
At the Y, strength means something different. It means people of all ages being together. It means you can be swishing the game-winning shot, learning to plie in first position, jabbing, crossing, and hooking a punching bag, canoeing in the lake at summer camp, donating food for your neighbors, watching your son learn about water safety in the pool. 175 years later, there's still no place like this place. Get involved at your Y. Learn more at ymca.org.
Coming up in the next hour, we're going to talk for a few moments about those red-hot Athletics. What a road trip for them. Lose game one to the Yankees and then win the rest of their games on the trip. Incredible. Texas in town tonight. Let's get to Bill in Citrus Heights. Hello, Bill. Welcome.
Hello, Grant. To bring up something that's kind of dark and is the issue of what was going on with Anjali Ranadiv that came out just before the beginning of the season with Chance Comanche, and just how the organization works. I mean, how can you get any player who want to come here when it's obvious that there's something very, very broken about this organization in the first place?
Well, the question that you asked is one of finances. There are only 30 teams, and at some point, players need a job and they need to have a contract. And so there are players that will come to Sacramento for that reason. I would also tell you, if you go back to last year, Dennis Schroeder came to Sacramento. Russell Westbrook, who didn't have any other choices other than China, came to Sacramento. So there are always players that will come.
Did we not overpay for Dennis Schroeder, for example?
Yes, of course.
I mean, we have to overpay. It's not because of the city. It's not because of what the fans will do. It's because of the organization itself.
That's true. It's 100%. Very true.
I mean, the ownership. I mean, to me, it's I'm here in Atlanta today, talking with Hawks fans who are excited.
Yeah.
And I talked to them about what's going on in Sacramento, and they mentioned the thing about Anjali and Ranadiv. We never heard about that.
Well, yeah, you did. You heard about it because I talked about it on this show.
No,
I would just tell you. Well, wait a minute. When you say you never heard about it, it was in the New York Times.
No, I'm saying in Atlanta they never heard.
Oh,
about it.
in Atlanta. I'm sorry. Yeah, it wasn't a story that would be talked about in a lot of circles, other than for a day or two, and it was glossed over by the vast majority of media members in Sacramento for some reason, which I don't understand, because to me it was another stain, another black eye for this organization. And yet the media here in Sacramento, for some reason, chose to ignore it. And I didn't understand that. I thought it was a big story. I talked about it. It was big enough story to be in the New York Times, for crying out loud. And it was just kind of like glossed over here in this market. I don't know why that is.
Well, absolutely. I asked the people, if this had happened with the Atlanta Hawks, what would have been reaction? I mean, they throw up their hands and what?
Yep.
That happened?
It's an embarrassment for the organization, just a flat out embarrassment.
The fact that she was, the GM of our minor league team. How does that impact, all the players? And you got to sit there and say, "Oh my goodness."
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Really appreciate all the messages that I'm getting at 916-779-0929. This Kings and Jazz have the same record. How does that work relating to the draft lottery position? There will be a coin flip to break all ties coming up here in the very near future. Grant, I've been a basketball fanatic since I was about 6. I'm now 69. Affording Kings season tickets is no problem for me. Do I get them anymore? Not on your life. Not because this Kings are terrible. Not at all. It is the game nowadays. Launcher 3, et cetera, et cetera. Load, or is it loaf management? I could care less about the game now. It's almost unwatchable. I don't disagree with you. It is almost unwatchable. I really have the same view as you do. I think it's just awful the way the game is played. This from the 916. Okay, Grant, we saw a lot of Carter for the last 20 games, including 4 20-plus point games. Not bad in garbage time. What's your assessment? I still say he's undersized, and that won't change. If we don't get a top 3 pick, I would prioritize an elite point guard in the draft and move on from him. He's at best a role player in the league, and so I'm not concerned at all about his size. That I don't really look at that as much as you do. I look at the fact that he plays guard and is an inconsistent shooter from the perimeter. That's what I look at. All right. So I don't really know what else to say about him other than I think he can play in this league, but it won't be as a frontline player. By a frontline player, I'm talking about minutes. I don't project that to be the case, but he'll be in the league. I don't know if it will be Sacramento, even though he's got a deal. I don't know how that's going to fare out. Ryan, what do you think for Devin Carter after now watching him for a good run here at the end of the year? And I would also say this before I get to your answer. More mistakes are made in the month of March and April about players, and particularly young players, than at any other point during the season, including summer league, training camp, and the regular season. Go ahead.
Yeah, it depends. I do think point guard is a priority regardless of what you do with Devin Carter, so I'm with the texter there. I thought he made his signature play as a King when he ran through Draymond Green's chest on Friday night, which kind of changed the way that game was played early in the second half. For Devin, he's a guy, in my opinion, where you don't really put a position on him. He doesn't do one thing great, but he does a lot of things good. Not going to say well, good. Now, physicality is there. He's just a good basketball player, but he's a guy that you want if you have a deeper team, Grant, where you can bring him in. Like if you have your 9-man rotation, every once in a while you want to bring Devin in on certain matchups, certain games to change the look of things as an annoyant, as somebody that can give you those 3, 6, 7 hard minutes of, kind of doing what he did at the start of the second half against Golden State. But with this Kings roster, it makes it really difficult because they are at such need at that position. But then financially, they're strapped too. So I don't know if the evaluation on Devin Carter would be different if the Kings books were much lighter.
Yeah. Again, he's not in your 8-man rotation going into next year. I think we all know that. And so he won't be on anyone's 8-man rotation. The question is, as you said, would it be for the role that you just described, and the other aspect of this, for all intents and purposes, he's got 1 full year under his belt right now.
Yeah.
So there's still room for growth. I wouldn't just write a book on him and close the book and say there are no more chapters. There are many more chapters in his book.
Oh, 100%. And I think he's a high IQ player. He sees the floor well. He just, offensively, there's limitations there. Jerry's laid out the 3-ball limitation, right? And I think he can get places, but he can't get out of places, if that makes sense.
Yep. What else struck you today? What I don't understand is the talk regarding Russell Westbrook. And I get Russ's situation.
Yeah.
He's not in demand at all. He didn't have any other team in the league that wanted him this year. The only team that wanted him was the Kings. I mean, if you remember, the Kings signed him like 3 days before the start of the season. There were reports, Ryan, that he was going to go overseas.
That's right. Yeah, he talked about it today. He talked about how much, one, he enjoys being in the leadership role in a locker room. And he talked about how he was out of work and the Kings picked him up and things worked out really well in his eyes. And is he open to coming back to Sacramento? Here's what Russ had to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind coming back. Yeah, I'm always anywhere I'm wanted. I'm there. I want to be able to be helpful, be productive, but also I understand it's a business. I've been around a long time, so I understand a lot of different moving variables for that, and that's out of my control. My job is to be ready, be prepared, and be ready to go.
I'm going to make this comment right now. If the Sacramento Kings bring back Russell Westbrook, that will tell me that Scott Perry is not serious about the direction of this franchise. All right, there is absolutely no way at all that Westbrook should be on the Sacramento Kings next year. He shouldn't have been on the team this year. That will be they've already made one mistake this offseason, in my opinion. This would be right up there. You have to move on from this.
I don't see, and if you're going to say we want him to be around the young guys, right? If that's the argument,
then hire him as a coach.
Okay, hold on. Then I don't see how a second year makes that much of a difference than the first year around Russell Westbrook. And I think he has done what he was paid to do, and that's come in and play basketball. This is not a Russell Westbrook problem. This is a management of Russell Westbrook problem. And there's probably not very many teams that would sign him in that same role. In fact, I would almost go on a limb and say none. Yes.
There's no team. Yeah.
Exactly. And so for me, if you are making a commitment, and we can talk about Doug as the show goes along, but this is a commitment to the youth. That's what this is right now. And if you bring Russ back, there's no way to rein back in year two what you let happen in year one. It would be the same. In that case, I think you're actually hurting the youth, and you're hurting your argument to this fan base about its direction.
See, when you talk about the youth, to me, you're only talking about three players right now. You're talking about Max Reynaud, you're talking about Neek Clifford, and you're talking about Dylan Cardwell. The other players that we saw, they're not part of the picture next year. Not saying they wouldn't be on the team, but they're not part of your 9 to 10 man rotation without even knowing the moves that are going to be made. Now, the youth will also include whomever the Kings select with their first round pick.
Correct. And I also keep Keegan Murray kind of on that side. He's a young veteran. I guess you can call him a veteran compared to the other guys on the team. So, and Malik Monk, he's not an old guy, but will Malik still be here? I don't think he disqualifies as a young player still. So
why would Malik want to be here other than the fact that he does really like living here? Why would Malik want to be here? They completely misused him all year. They mess with his minutes all year. Like, if you're Malik Monk and you're in the prime of your career, and let's just call it the way it is, he right now is in the prime of his career. He's entering it right now. This is his prime. He's a really good player. Why would he want to stay here?
It's a great question. It's an awesome question. I mean, he came to the podium today and just talked about how things have balanced out now that he's had his son, and, you know, he doesn't really worry about the noise, and, you know, just talked about it being a tough year, but good stuff with the youth. But I guess I'm with you there. It's like, how quickly do we forget that we were all hanging by a nail waiting to see if Malik was going to stay with the Kings or leave a few years ago?
All off season.
Like, we were saying the Kings off season would be made if Malik stays, and then you end up getting DeRozan, and then you get to where you did this year. I just think, again, that was a move above Doug Christie's head, which I'm not going to hang over Doug, but I'm going to hang over the organization.
The next big day will be May 10th, because based on where you end up in the lottery, you will know who you can cross off the board. So let's say you end up 6 or 7. You already know the players that will be drafted. You know they're off the board. If you get a top 4 pick, assuming that it's 3 or 4, in almost 100% certainty, DeBonsa will be off the board. And then after that, it's a crapshoot. But if you're 3 or 4, you have a pretty good idea of the player that will be available and the position they play. And based on who you draft, all right, the position of the player that you end up drafting is certainly going to impact a lot of the things that we're discussing here. And it's an unknown right now. And until we get to May 10th, it's going to continue to be an unknown in terms of who might be staying and who might be leaving. Well, it's early in the baseball season, but there are 2 teams going in opposite directions in Northern California. That would be the last place Giants and the first place Athletics, tied with Texas, and they begin a series tonight. We'll talk a little bit about this. The Kings, more sound from their locker room. Coming up in hour number 2, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabrudes. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabrudes or visit Gabrudes.com. Gubruds.
If you've been waiting to buy a home, then you must be prepared to act soon for what's about to happen in the real estate market. The expected Fed rate cuts will renew the housing market demand. Buyers, like you, will flood the market. Bidding wars will happen, homes will sell quickly. You need to get your ducks in a row, and the best way to start is with an experienced broker to represent you. Village Financial's Spencer Grimmenstein is that broker. Spencer's white glove service, boutique experience, one-stop shop method makes it so easy. Spencer will navigate you through the process from start to finish. He has extensive home listings to choose from throughout Northern California. His 30-year mortgage brokering experience will get you the best rates. He also has access to private money to help you expedite getting your offer accepted and closed. And don't forget that it makes sense to call Spence. Call now to schedule a free home buying consultation. 916-805-4868. 916-805-4868 or visit Spencer's Village Financial website at bfgloans.com.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Who still listens to the radio? I'll tell you who. People who trust the comforting voices of our community. The Accident Guys have been proudly serving our community for over a decade.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the Accident Guys.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Tell your friends. Grant's back! Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Moving right along, the A's back home after an incredible road trip. Really amazing what they were able to do heading on the road. You know, that extra inning Sunday game, extra inning win against Houston, right? The shootout with the Astros. You remember how that game ended? A's off to a horrible start. They beat the Astros last Sunday. So they go to New York, and you're like, oh boy, this is not going to go well. And they lose the first game after having a lead. and the Yankees come back and win. I think it was 5-3, and then the A's get phenomenal pitching to beat the Yankees, and they actually hold them scoreless for 17 straight innings, including a 1-0 3-hit shutout. And they go to the Mets. Actually, it may have been 1 hit. They go to the Mets and sweep the Mets. And they leave town limping, and they come back to Sacramento red hot, 5 in a row, 7 of 10, and tied with Texas, who's in town to begin a series tonight. It's a great job. Great job by Mark Kotsay and the A's to kind of tread water after that rough start in Toronto and Atlanta. Whereas the Giants, wow. You know, the Giants right now are 6-10. And you would think, okay, well, it's early in the season, fine and dandy. But the Dodgers are 11-4. And I keep talking about this. You're 6 back in the loss column. You were, starting to find some consistency, and now you've lost 2 in a row. You move on to Cincinnati. They're off to a good start at 9-7. But, I mean, Colorado's 6-10 for crying out loud. And you have the Padres, who have won 5 in a row and 8 of 10. And they're 10-6. And, yes, it is still early. And the A's just proved that one good week can get you right back to near the top of the standings. But you're not going to you've already got to a point where you're not going to catch the Dodgers because they're just too good. Let's just call it the way it is, okay? Like, it just is. It's ridiculous, the amount of money that the Dodgers make on their TV contract. There's an unfair playing field, and it is what it is. You have to accept that. But that doesn't mean you can't be in the playoffs. But the inconsistency, I guess, is what I look at with the Giants. And again, I look at their run differential. They're minus 21. You know how bad that is? That is like horrible. The next in line is minus 16, and that's the one team they're playing coming up next is Cincinnati. They're minus 16. The White Sox have the worst in the league at minus 30. But, I mean, minus 21, that's brutal.
Is that bad pitching, bad hitting, or both?
It's really hitting. Their outfield is anemic. The 3 players they have in the outfield, anemic. No, it's really their terrible hitting for the most part. I'm not saying their pitching's been great, but their hitting has been dreadful. Dreadful. I mean, it's their team batting average, Ryan, when you look at them, have been terrible. I mean, just go right on down the list and you look at their average. It's terrible.
So are
Terrible.
we starting to get to that point where a change could be on the horizon?
Probably not yet. Their team batting average is 242. But look at their outfield. Bader's his batting average is, I want to be accurate here. So you got Bader, who couldn't put the ball in the ocean right now. I mean, he's terrible. He's batting 115. All right? Terrible.
115?
115. Young-Ho Lee, 185, their center fielder.
Oh, boy.
All right? Ramos, all right, batting 224, their left fielder. That's got to be the worst hitting outfield in baseball by a country mile. I mean, even your designated hitter, Rafael Devers, their big man, is batting 222. Chapman's hitting well. Adames is only batting 258. I mean, it's a joke. But you look at the A's and you look at their road trip. I mean, I would think there would be a lot of excitement this week for the A's on this homestand.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard some chatter. There is some excitement about this A's team. You said going to New York was going to be big, and the way that they handled those last couple games in New York, that's good stuff.
Yeah, the last 5, and great pitching.
Right.
Not good pitching, great pitching.
Right. That's exactly it. And that was their quote-unquote Achilles heel coming into the season.
Yes. Yeah. So 8-7, and that's just I didn't think that would. Listen, I don't think anyone thought that was going to happen. That you would go to New York on that road trip and come back 5-1. I mean, raise your hand if you were calling for that. I don't know anyone that thought the A's would go to New York and win 5 of the 6 games.
So baseball is more in your court than my court. And when it comes to the NBA, you like a 25-game sample size. What kind of sample size do you need for baseball to judge a team?
I need at least 40 games. It's 162, so I need at least 40 games. I normally like to use if we talk about dates, which would be more than 40 games, but I'm going to give you a date. I like to go around June 1st. I think when you get to around June 1st, then you have a decent idea of what you're dealing with a baseball team. So, like I'm looking at some other teams already in Major League Baseball, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, like where is this team at? And me being a Yankee fan, for example, like to me, when I look at the Yankees, I'm like, show me, don't tell me about their lineup. I don't care about their lineup, okay? The Yankees are 8-7. They've lost 5 in a row after their hot start. To me, the Yankees are good, but they have holes, and their lineup has the same problem that they've had over the last couple of years. They don't put the ball in play enough. Now, if they get Garrett Cole back to go with Max Fried, that's a nice 1-2 punch. But they don't put the ball in play enough. You know that in the American League, it's hard to believe. Do you know that the best record in the American League now is 9-7? Think about it. All right, 9-7. I mean, you have a lot of 500 teams or below 500 teams. Meanwhile, in the National League, Atlanta's 10-6, Pittsburgh's 9-6, and the Dodgers are 11-4. But in the American League, 8-7 has you atop the AL East, 9-7 has you atop the Central, and 8-7 has you atop the West. It's pretty amazing. You don't see that very often. You don't see that.
Couldn't
very
a lot
often.
of that depend on scheduling? Has the AL been playing the AL a lot?
Not, yeah, but I mean, not where the whole. Well, first of all, that shouldn't factor into everyone being 500, whether you're playing the American League or the National League, should it? Like, what difference would it make?
I'm just saying somebody would have to take the loss in that case.
Yeah, no, okay.
Within the AL.
Okay. Well, in this, I haven't looked at the entire schedule, but I would say no. I just think it's very inconsistent play early in the year.
There you
That's
go.
where I'm looking at it. All right, let's get to Dorian. Dorian, welcome to the show. How are you?
What's up, Grant? What's up, Rhino?
What's up, buddy?
You know what? What's up, brother? You know, I'm excited that this King season's over, man. It's been I called to talk about the Giants, but I'm excited that this King season's over. It's just man, to see where the Beam team was 3 years ago to where it's at now, it's been terrible to watch. Every year just digression after digression, and who knows where this roster will be at here coming in this next offseason. But I mean, it's just I'm glad the season's finally over and there's no Kings basketball for 6 months.
Yeah, we don't have a great connection, Dorian. So give me a question and then I'll be able to answer it, and then we can move on because you don't have a great connection today.
Grant, let me call back in a little bit, okay? Sorry about that.
Okay, sounds good, buddy. All right. Appreciate that.
Sounds like Dorian.
916.
Sounds like
What's
Dorian
that?
has a flat tire.
I know it does. Yeah, it did. I thought I was talking to the astronauts coming around the backside of the moon there for a minute.
Oh my goodness.
916-779 0929. By the way, I didn't even check it out. How did everything go at the studio earlier today?
With the WWE
Were you been
superstar?
talking about your wrestling and everything else, and you're all excited. I was worried about you. I was excited about you. I was worried about you this week, being so excited for this week. I was wondering if you would even be at work today because you would be up all night, not being able to sleep, and you would need a day off to kind of regroup.
Yeah, unfortunately, scheduling fell through. So
Okay.
we did not have Maxine, but we will definitely have more WWE superstars in the future. So,
Okay. All right.
yeah, I'd be
Okay.
bouncing off the walls right now if Sacramento's own Maxine Dupree came in studio.
Oh, she's from
earlier.
Sacramento, huh?
She is. Well, we went over
Oh.
this, remember? She's
Oh,
from
that's correct.
Loomis, right?
Loomis.
Loomis.
Yes. And she's a big figure in the sport. She's very popular.
She's on her way up. That's how I would
Okay.
put it. Yeah. She's
Okay.
on her way up. You
All
don't
right.
usually they don't send the top of the card people out for media day of the show. So you get like the ones that are, kind of on their way up. But
Okay.
she's held a title. She won it in Madison Square
So-
Garden.
Okay. So today's you said the day of the show. Is that correct?
Yeah, today it was so funny because we're sitting there in the practice facility. It's where we did the exit interviews because WWE has the building today. And for 2 or 3 of the exit interviews, you could hear WWE doing their walkthroughs and the music's just pounding the practice facility.
Really?
And so we're
Wow.
looking at each other. We're like, wait a minute, are we figuring out what's going on with the show before the show happens?
How about that?
Because of the audition.
You probably couldn't even contain your excitement at the practice facility.
I mean, I wasn't going to be disappointed if I ran into somebody in the hallway. That building it connects to so many places. So
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's get back to the Kings for a minute. We've heard from Sabonis. We both agree he won't be here next year.
Mhm.
There's another interesting aspect to next year, and that's Zach LaVine.
Oh boy.
He holds a player option that's going to pay him roughly $50 million, which is just mind-boggling. I mean, that's what's wrong with that, and I don't begrudge him, but that right there is what's wrong with the NBA. Right there. That right there in a nutshell is what's wrong with the NBA.
Well, that was a contract that was done before this new CBA when things
That's
really
a
tightened
contract
up.
that was done because of the Sacramento Kings.
Spot on. The offer
Okay.
sheet that got matched.
They signed him to an offer sheet, and the Bulls matched it.
Yep, spot on. Well, let's start here, and then we'll get to Zach's future.
Okay.
Zach was asked about the season, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I think we could do a lot better job with, having a rhythm out there and figuring out the right, rotations, lineups, and it's a season where it was a lot of mismatch stuff, and it wasn't anybody's fault that we weren't even able to have our full roster. And I know that's tough, being able to. You just have to. You're almost playing patchwork. You're not playing with a full deck, but that's no one else really cares about that.
No one else really cares about that because most teams go through exactly what the Kings went through, maybe not to this extent. But, there were a lot of teams that dealt with injuries this year that had a lot of key players out, maybe not like the Kings, but a lot of times we would go over the injury report before games, and we'd be talking about, well, the Kings don't have this player, but that team doesn't have their 2 best players. That happened a lot this year.
Some of that was a product, one, of scheduling, where teams were on the second night of a back-to-back, but I know that affects everybody. And the other was you're playing the Kings, so they sat people out a lot.
But it doesn't change the fact that they weren't playing. They were either playing or they're not playing.
Fair enough.
My point is the Kings didn't go against the full rosters of a lot of other teams this year. I would think out of the 82 games, you could probably count on your fingers and toes and still have some fingers and toes left over the number of games the Kings played against a team that was at full strength for whatever reason, injury, load, whatever.
You could say that over the last 2.5 seasons.
Yes.
You could go all the way back to the All-Star break, coming out of it from the Beam team. You can go back that far. That's when they started getting breaks with teams holding people out. All right. So Zach said the pinky is almost fully healed for him to be back to full activities. And then he was asked about, where he was at in terms of wanting to or being in Sacramento, possibly beyond his player option. For those that don't know, he has a basically just under $50 million player option for next season. Here's what he had to say.
I have a lot of control, I'll go back and talk to my representative and figure out what's the best course of action. I think that goes along with him as where, what's most important to you right now and, what makes sense. And, obviously having a player option is, it's a good thing in my camp. So we'll go back and look at everything, look at all the scenarios, watch playoffs and see what happens.
Yeah, I want to make a correction because someone's saying that the contract that I'm referring to expired. Yes, I'm aware of that. The point I'm trying to make is his new contract that he signed, I want to say it was back in 21 or 22, was based on the figure that he was already getting with the raises
Bingo.
To his existing contract. So what I'm saying is the what set his crazy salary in motion was back in, I want to say 17 or 18, the Kings signed him to an offer sheet that was matched immediately by the Bulls. When that contract ran its course, his new contract was based on the escalation of those numbers, which got him to this point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Go ahead, Rhino.
No, exactly right. And, Zach, he's been nothing but professional. He's been part of that group that's been on the bench, cheering the young guys on towards the latter part of the season, Grant. But this feels more like a business decision rather than a long-term decision, a commitment to the Kings. It's, am I going to get paid or am I going to take a sharp discount to go play somewhere else?
Well, I think we already know the answer to that question.
Yeah. That's going to be the puzzle for Scott Perry, because we've said it numerous times on this show. I just don't see any way you come into next season with Sabonis and LaVine on the books.
And as far as LaVine goes, it's hard to imagine being miserable making $50 million a year. Okay? Like it's just hard to imagine being that unhappy, which is what I project him to be, making $50 million a year. But, at the root of everything, you're a basketball player and you like to compete. Although in all fairness, LaVine, to the best of my knowledge, has never been on a good team. Right? And I'm sure that when he watches all these other teams in the playoffs, it eats him because he understands that right now he's in the prime of his career, and this is the chance to be able to do that. And with each passing year, those chances become less and less likely. So he, at the end of this next year, what I think is going to be very interesting, without even knowing how he might play next year and with injuries, because he has had a lot of injuries. That's been part of the stain on his career, Ryan.
Yeah.
At the end of this coming year, it is going to be very interesting to see what his number is and the years that he will get from another team in the league. That, to me, is going to be like, wow.
Well,
because I think he's in for a real rude awakening.
Okay, so 100%. I'm with you there. So here's the difference between this past season and next season with Zach, if he opts in, is you don't have to necessarily play nice in the sandbox next year if you're the Kings. If Zach is not playing well, you can sit him down and you can play who you want because that contract's going to be expiring.
Yep.
And if that is the case and another team needs shooting at the deadline and you want to take on half a season of Zach LaVine because you think it gets you over the hump, then maybe there's a chance in my eyes of moving him. Whereas this year, what was the discussion? It was, well, are you going to send Zach or DeMar to the bench? You can't do that to DeMar. Well, if you do it to Zach, he's gone without talking to coaches for months at a time, and you've got a commitment with him. So that's what changes to me there. But Grant, I don't think his number is half, right? If he hit free agency this period, his number would not be half of what is due to him on his player option.
I agree. Hey, I want to talk to you about Village Financial Group. Buying a home, selling a home, looking for a home equity line of credit. I love talking about Spence at Village Financial Group, broker owner that began the family-owned business back in 2000. The Village Financial Group, I like to say, is like a kind of a white glove boutique shop experience where Spence and Village Financial Group will take you from the start line to the finish line and everything in between. Talk to him. Call him, text him, 916-805-4868. Again, that number is 916-805-4868. That's Spence at Village Financial Group. And he's so good at what he does with his experience, and he is very creative when it comes to financing. He's actually a specialist, and he has access to private money. You can also check out their website, vfgloans.com. You'll find thousands of available listings for purchase. That's vfgloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. We'll have more sound from the Kings exit interviews that went on earlier this afternoon. That's all coming up on Fox Sports Sacramento.
It's Rhino inviting you to join me on America's #1 daily fantasy site, Prize Picks. What I love about Prize Picks is real sports knowledge meets real payouts. You're not competing against sharks, just the numbers. In basketball, points, rebounds, assists, baseball, hits, total bases. One swing can cash your pick. Golf fans, birdies, strokes, and round-by-round performance. Every shot counts and every pick matters. It's simple. Choose 2 to 6 players, pick more or less on their stat projection, and let them win the night for you. Download the Prize Picks app today using the code RHINO50 to get $50 in free play after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code RHINO, RYNO50 to get $50 in free play after your first $5 lineup. One app, over 100 sports. Pick, predict, cash, Prize Picks.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Another big aspect to this Sacramento Kings offseason is going to be Keegan Murray. And I say that because Keegan had a lost season with his injuries. But when he was on the floor, we once again saw a very inconsistent offensive player with very spotty, deep shooting. And at some point, you have to ask if that's just who Keegan Murray is. We know about his defense, and we don't know where the Kings are going to be drafting and the player that will be coming in here. But you were there this afternoon, Rhino, and Keegan was very open about his injuries and everything that he went through. But I'm not really sure currently. I know he fits in with this team, and I know he's got a contract, and I get all of that.
Yeah.
I would just say You never know. I mean, don't just assume he won't be in some deal. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Look, he looks great. Number one. Number two, he made it clear he was not healthy after the first preseason game.
Correct.
And that's a tough thing to go through. And he talked about he'd never missed this many games or lost this many games, even in high school, right? And so he did get to take a step back and spend a lot of time with the coaching staff, which I thought was very interesting. Learning more about the tendencies with the young guys, which we'll get to in a second. But we questioned whether or not Keegan was going to return this season towards the tail end, and he gave us a reason why.
Ankle injury was rough, the one in Houston, and I tried to ramp back up so I could play like a couple weeks, and then had a pretty rough setback. I think it was like in the middle of March or so. So then at that point, it was kind of just trying to get it to heal the right way. And at that point, it was just kind of too late to ramp back up and get back on the court.
Yeah, we'll have more from Keegan Murray in a little bit at 916-779-0929. Those are the numbers. That is the number to call the show or to text the show, whatever you are more comfortable doing, and we'll get right to you. But Keegan's got to be so happy it's the off season that he can reload and get ready for next year, Rhino, because it was a lost year for him, plain and simple. It was a lost season.
Yeah, and I remember media day. He was just glowing about the summer that he had. It was different than any other because he got away from Sacramento, said he caught a flow. So today, I asked Keegan, I said, besides getting your health right, how do you catch that same flow again? Is anything going to be different this summer?
I mean, last summer, it was the most healthy I've been going into a season. Strength-wise, health-wise, physically. And I think it was just a lot of freak accidents that happened this season. I don't think I'm going to change much. I'm going to spend some time with our young guys and work out with them and things like that to just try to build chemistry and get our organization going the right way. So I'm not going to change much. Just try and get healthy.
And I'm getting a message or two, about does this reflect on the Kings training staff? And I'm going to say absolutely not. All right. I think that when you have injuries, you don't look for a scapegoat unless there's a common thread. Okay. And I will tell you that I know, and I'm saying this because I'm being transparent. I know the Sacramento Kings head trainer, Joel Noland. And Joel is outstanding. Okay. He's extremely respected throughout the industry. He is really, really good at what he does. And there's really not a lot you can do as a trainer when you're dealing with broken bones and torn ligaments and things of that nature. Like, that's not the fault of the head athletic trainer. Okay. When somebody sprains an ankle and they land on someone's foot and turn their ankle, that's not the head athletic trainer. The head athletic trainer, their job is to get the players back on the court. They're, along with the doctors, their medical supervision, their rehabilitation program, and everything else. But I've known Joel for a number of years. He was with the organization when I was there. I have a lot of respect for him. I know, because I'm still very close within the NBA circles. He's very well respected. So I hope that answers the question that we received. But no, I don't put this on the Kings medical staff at all. And I would think if you asked the players that question, they would give you a ringing endorsement, just like I have.
DeMar DeRozan played, 76, 77 games this season.
Right.
Guys, they found ways to keep guys on the floor through injuries. You can't train to not step on somebody's foot. You just can't. It happens. That's
Right.
how rolled ankles occur.
Yep.
To your point about ligaments, right? It's one of those things. You got a basketball flying around at a high speed. Sometimes if it catches a finger,
Yep.
it's just part of the game. And then there's other things like Max Reynaud. He put on 6 to 8 pounds of muscle during the season. That doesn't normally happen. So, this is not a...
I'm just going to say this, and I'm glad you brought that up. So players work out regularly with the strength and conditioning coach.
Right.
And particularly the young players, it is mandatory. They don't have a choice. I would be on the road in a hotel fitness center day of the game, and the strength and conditioning coach after shoot around would be in there with 3 or 4 players, and they would go through their full routine, and it was part of the deal. And so for the fans out there, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying this for the fans out there that don't really know what goes on during the season, there is a regular lift schedule, strength schedule, that is followed both at home and on the road. And if we get to a city at, let's say, 5 o'clock on the other side of the country, and there's no game, or if we're traveling and you get to a city and there's no game, or you got off the airplane, very often you would see players in the hotel fitness center with the strength and conditioning coach going through their full workout. So I'm just letting people know this is an ongoing strength program. It doesn't just go on in the off season. It goes on during the season. But for the question about the Kings training staff, I will only tell you that their head athletic trainer is outstanding. He's extremely well respected. And this was just a season, in my opinion, of bad fortune. And it is not a reflection on the Kings training staff. We can't go there. Please don't go there. All right, let's get to some phone calls right here on Fox Sports Sacramento with Dorian. Hello, Dorian.
Hey, Grant. Hey, Rhino. Sorry about that, Grant.
That's okay. Much better, buddy.
At home. Thank you, man. I was on a walk and it was pretty windy. I don't have a flat tire, Rhino. But you were talking about the Giants baseball, Grant, and I called about a couple weeks back and mentioned the Giants have around a 240 batting average. I mean, in the last 3, 4, 5 years of during their season, that's what they average during the season. And that's just not going to win you games, man. I mean, I think what's going to happen with the Giants, like they always do, is they're going to get a little hot during the All-Star break, maybe a little bit after the All-Star break, and make a playoff push and try to get into the NL wild card. But I mean, we're only 16 games in the season. They're them being 6-10, and the Dodgers, being 11-4. I don't think they're going to catch the Dodgers. The Dodgers are just too good. Their payroll is just enormous. And I think, unless Shohei Ohtani, has an injury, I just don't think the Giants are going to be fighting for that top NL West spot for years. It's got to be the NL wild card, and the Giants just have a tough time generating offense for some reason.
Yeah, and their outfield is anemic. I mean, it's just terrible. They're not producing at all, but there's just a lack of depth in their lineup, and it doesn't really scare opposing pitchers right now. Once you get past Devers in terms of, hitting balls out of the ballpark and everything else, they don't have pop in their lineup. And I was listening to Mike Krukow, and he's saying, hey, these guys just got to figure out a way to get on base. Bunt. If they're giving you a bunt, put the ball down, take first base. Figure out a way to get a walk. Figure out a way to just get on base and put pressure on the defense. They're not doing that enough right now.
Yeah, and I don't think Mattel's on the hot seat or anything like that. I mean, you have to give the manager time, the super time to kind of figure this out, right? But, at the same time, Jung-Ho Lee, he hasn't been as, obviously there was a lot of excitement when he came to the Giants, and, he's been hurt, obviously, but, his offense just hasn't been there. And, Devers is not even batting 300. Like, it's just, he's batting around what you said, Grant, like 200, I think you said?
Yeah, 222, I think.
Yeah, 222. I mean, that's just not going to win you games. And I think what's wrong with the Giants is, they've had pretty good pitching. Their bullpen has been here and there, but I mean, anytime you have Logan Webb as your ace, I mean, you're gonna, hopefully at least be in games. But the Giants' offense is just not there, and yeah, I think they're going to be fighting for an NL wild card, not the NL West. The Dodgers are just too good.
Yeah, they're not in the same category, and it is what it is. Okay, we knew that. You didn't expect them to be the Dodgers. Now they haven't played
Yeah.
them yet. There's a lot of games, but I mean, we got to be honest about this. All right, they're not
Yeah.
they're not going to be in the neighborhood of the Dodgers. They shouldn't be. They don't have the lineup. They don't have the pitching. We shouldn't expect that, and I don't think most people do.
Yeah, and I'm here in the YouTube chat, and somebody mentioned comparing Posey to Vlade Divac, and I don't think that's a good comparison for now. I think Buster Posey is still young in him being president, and I think he's still got a long way to go. But I think comparing him to Vlade right now is not right.
Yeah, I've never really thought about that, so I don't even know how to answer that question. But Dorian, let me ask you real quickly because you follow this Kings team very closely.
Yeah.
So give me your summation. You've heard what I've said about Doug Christie. You're a big supporter. You went to a road game this year in New York. You invested a lot of money to go follow the team you love on the road. You know, you're a big time fan. So I like talking to the people that are invested both emotionally and financially. So give me your take on this season.
Well, one, I'm happy the season's over. You know, I don't think I've said that, you know, since being a Kings fan, but just like as an adult now, it's different when you're a kid, you know, but, you know, as an adult, like, I mean, it's just, it just sucks, man. It hurts me to see the Kings, you know, be where they at right now. I mean, 3 years ago, you had something that was somewhat stable. You felt like we were turning the corner as, you know, and as an organization. You know, going to every playoff game at home against the Warriors was just something that I will never forget in my life. But now, 3 years later, I mean, you win 48 games, you win 46 games, you win 40 games, and then now you win 22 games. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm pretty sad about it. But, you know, I don't know. I think with Vivek as the owner, I think that Kings might have some success here and there with a couple seasons. But as far as having long-term success and stability, I don't think that's going to happen. I think, you know, fans are going to continue going to games. They're going to continue paying for the product, and it's going to keep filling, you know, Vivek's pocket. But I hope that the Kings can at least hit on their draft pick and at least somewhat start building something stable. As far as veterans go, I wouldn't mind having Westbrook on the team still, but not as a starter. I'm looking for the Kings to get a point guard, a young point guard, someone that they can develop with. I wouldn't mind having Westbrook back, but again, not with the minutes that he's playing or that he played this year. I wouldn't mind having DeRozan back, just because I think DeRozan's a proven winner. I know he slows the offense down way too much, and it's just not how the Kings like to play. But I'd rather have DeRozan than have Levine. I don't think Levine's a winner. I don't think his attitude. I mean, obviously he's smooth. He's one of the smoothest players that the NBA has. His offensive game can be incredible at times, but I just don't think he has the fire to be a winner. I mean, with him and Fox, right? They've played the same amount of years in the league, and they've only been to playoffs one time. I mean, I don't think Levine's a winner. I wouldn't mind having DeRozan back, but I don't know, Grant. You know, I'm a Kings fan for life. You know, up until my next life, who knows when that will be. But you know, I'm going to support this team till I'm done. But I'm just. I'm pretty disappointed about the season, but I'm glad it's over, and hopefully there'll be some positive seasons for here to come, man. We'll see.
Rhino?
Yeah, Dorian, in the context that we saw DeMar DeRozan last season, I feel you. I had that same impression, but seeing DeMar play with guys that, to me, was what was more a balanced court. He's not that ball stopper that it really felt like when you had two other ISO guys on the court as well. And so with DeMar, I think it's more about the combinations. I don't think it's as bad as we think. And you saw that when he played with the young guys. But yeah, I feel you about Vivek, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think DeMar was ever the problem. He hasn't been the problem. I mean, he's a scoring machine. He's one of the most efficient offensive players in the game. I mean, there's nobody that does mid-range like DeMar DeRozan. I mean, playing his back to the hoop. I mean, that's not how players play now. But he does slow down the offense, but he can get you a bucket when you need it.
Yeah,
but
here's the problem with DeMar DeRozan is if you have him on the floor with Max Reno, you're very weak defensively without even knowing who's going to be in the backcourt. If Dylan Cardwell's on the floor, that helps out your defense a lot because you have a natural shot blocker behind you But if he's not on the floor and you have DeRozan out there with Max, defensively, and again, I know Keegan's very good defensively if you can put him on the floor with those. But that is an issue. Max Reynaud, as good as he is offensively, is putrid on defense. And that is an area, as we've discussed with Jerry Reynolds very often on our postgame shows, that is an area that even if he needs to just become adequate, he's not even adequate. He must get to an adequate point because it's fine and dandy to score 25 every night. But if you're giving up 25, it doesn't really help you.
Yeah, I agree. I'm okay if the Kings have losing seasons as long as they continue to playing the young guys. Like if they continue playing the young guys, getting some minutes.
I'm not. I don't give a damn about anything other than winning. I don't give a damn if the guys are 20 years old or 50 years old. I'm tired of losing. And I understand there has to be a plan and you have to work towards that. But no, you need to go out and win. All right. The fans of this community deserve better. They need a team that they can support and be proud of. And that means winning. All right. They need to win and they need to figure out whatever it takes. They need to win. Dorian, it's always great hearing from you, my friend.
Thanks,
take care.
I don't believe in Scott Perry, but I'll see you next time.
All right. Take care, buddy. A lot more to come, including Grant's Rant at 5 o'clock. Rolling through this Monday show right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family-owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They're built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Available at Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard.
Out here in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. And sometimes, that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Trouble sleeping, your mind racing. So what do? We get help. There are people in our community who are here for us. Sometimes, just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Grant's Rant coming up in a little bit, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Rhino was out at the practice facility today, and we really haven't talked that much about DeMar DeRozan, so let's do that. But I wanted to ask you, since I haven't gotten to this conversation point with you, Rhino, as we look at the news that was first reported by Sam Amick of The Athletic, that the Kings would be retaining Doug Christie. What is your view on that?
With where the Kings are at right now, and I know you don't like this, the young guys, because it's a handful of guys, but the reality is it's a handful of guys that are going to be part of your core next year. They have to. I'm fine with it. In fact, I think it's the right move. I don't think it makes sense to bring in another coach that's going to be a placeholder, that's going to be a bridge, and turn things on its head in that sense. Doug definitely has had his shortcomings, and I do think the leash is going to be much shorter when we run this back. But all things considered, I'm okay with it.
Here's why I don't agree with you. Is I think Doug is going to be on a short leash, and I think that leash will be severed, and he will be gone, and then you're starting over with whomever the other coach will be, and you're wasting time in setting the tone for these young players. So I'd rather get it done now, and I would rather have a veteran coach, someone that's gone through a rebuild, somebody that's got a lot more experience to be with these young players over a longer period of time moving forward. Now, could I be wrong? Sure. I've been wrong before. Could Doug learn from his shortcomings, as you say, and become a better coach? Sure, of course, it's possible. I don't see it. I think there are too many issues. So I'd rather do it now. But I do agree with the one comment you made. I do think he'll be on a short leash next year. I really do.
And here's the other thing that we know. This team is going to be about the young players. It's not going to be about the vets, at least anytime soon. So in that sense, because of the rapport, and quite frankly, those guys played really well down the stretch. They were following game plans. They were 17.5-point underdogs in some cases, and they were competitive, right? And they weren't expected to be. And some of those guys, like Daquan Plowden, two-way guy, right?
Yep.
And so I think for that reason, I am good with it. But this, to me, is the second chance. This is where you need to, or at least I would like to see a different approach. You know what you have right now. Now, when it comes to a first-round pick, we don't know what it's going to be. That will develop through Summer League. But with a Max Reynaud, with a Dylan Cardwell, right, you know what you have. Fit the system accordingly. You can't go out and just say, we're going to learn how to play instead of learning plays. You've got to do it differently than you did at the beginning of this season. So,
okay. What about DeMar DeRozan? To me, he's the Kings' best player this year. Gets the, whatever. Hats off, props, with whatever. So Yes or no? Yes, bold prediction of the day.
Yeah.
In the middle of April. He will be on the Sacramento Kings next year.
I think he will be on the
Okay.
Kings
Okay.
to start the season. I
Okay.
absolutely do. I thought DeMar was absolutely tremendous today. Just in a very good mood. Gave some excellent answers. Talked about obviously looking back on the milestones. You know, he was one of those guys at Media Day. He laid out how awful last season was. And we can't use the language here now that we're on Fox Sports Radio. But he was asked today, was this season worse than last season? Here's what Debo said.
This one. Yeah, this one for sure. It's tough, man. You know, so many guys out. Started out the season without a key guy. Another key guy dropped. You know, it was like thing after thing after thing, trying to make adjustments in the midst of, you know, feeling like you've seen it in a deep hole about losing, you know, games, frustration, you know, so many emotions. You know, definitely was a lot going on.
He also talked about Russell Westbrook, and he had a funny quote about fighting elephants if they were going after Russ. But then I asked Debo, we saw down the stretch where the vets were really encouraging the young guys. You could see him on the bench into the games, right? And so I asked Debo, basically, how much did the vets give to you guys in terms of energy down the stretch? Did it make things, did they help you as much as you helped them? And I thought his answer was tremendous.
I mean, the excitement being around young guys, seeing them walk into training camp the first day, seeing how tired they are the second day, the third day, seeing them hit all sorts of type of rookie walls, seeing them complain about the first long road trip, seeing them eating chicken nuggets on the road, not knowing what the order. So, you know, after months go by, you see them, you know, grow just a little, you know, and see them get better at something that you told them 2 months prior, and they do something that you told them, you know, it brings a different type of excitement, you know, when they do it in a game or when they learn something or when they ask the right questions. That excitement, you know, give us the energy that we need, makes things fun. You know, you got to find things like that throughout the season, especially a tough season where you can lean on and kind of build off that for self and, you know, for them as well, you know. So they made it fun, they made it exciting. A lot of funny jokes came from, you know, our group chats, teasing the young guys, and, you know, they keep us going, they keep us young.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I kind of think in a way that was some saving grace for this group. This group comes off as pretty tight. Now, certainly you've got some different players that might not be happy about certain situations, but you have a core, and not saying a core that's going to take you to the playoffs or a core that's going to win you a championship, but you have a group of guys that are starting to tighten up on and off the court, and you know, did make what was an awful, worse season than last season for Debo tolerable and a little bit of fun. And I think it was that way for a few guys down the stretch.
Well, I think for the vets like DeMar, I think there's very little chance of this team succeeding next year without even knowing who they're going to draft or what the roster is going to look like.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wants to go through this again. Like, it's not, at this point in his career, I don't think he wants this. He wants to be in this show. And for that reason, I think he's going to want to get out of here. I really do. He can say whatever he wants, but
Sure.
If you're looking at his career and the fact that it's coming to a close soon, he needs to be in the show. And he's not going to be in the show here.
Grant, I would love that for Debo.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Grant's Rant is coming up in a couple of moments, and then we get you at hour number 3. Don't forget, tonight I will be on YouTube and X with my Open Forum Monday, and we'll be coming at you most nights at 7 o'clock over on YouTube and X. So my open forum Monday, we've got a lot to talk about that we haven't really even gotten into yet. So I hope you can join me an hour after the conclusion of this show over on YouTube and X. Grant's Rant in the third hour of the show, straight ahead on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Building friendships and bonding with family. It's what people experience during a day out at Golden State Shooting Center, only moments outside of Sacramento. Golden State Shooting Center is a favorite for those who love the sport of trap, skeet, and sporting clay target shooting. It's also where the California Youth Sport Shooting Association trains and competes. New teams are being formed, and if you've got a son or daughter in high school, they can compete for college scholarships. Learn more at goldenstateshootingcenter.com or call 916-539-8544.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Rookie of the Year race is supposed to be simple. Pick the most impressive rookie season of the year. Numbers, impact, maybe a little narrative. And this year, it's not that simple. Cooper Flagg, number one pick, coming off nights of 45 and 51 points and still just 19 years of age. The other player is a little older than 19, Con Knipple. Efficient shooting north of 40% from three-point range, nearly 19 points a night, and setting the all-time rookie record for most threes in a season. So what matters more, the individual brilliance that takes over games or the steady presence that changes what a team can be? Not a wrong answer here. It's just a choice. And whichever way the voters lean, they're not just picking a rookie, they're defining what they value most. Is it a great season or is it a valuable season? The votes should be close. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. A personal question. Have you ever wiped with a piece of dry, single-ply toilet paper and wondered, is this as good as it gets? Well, it's not. It's a whole lot better thanks to the wet, extra-large cleaning power of Dude Wipes. They comfortably clean up whatever toilet paper leaves behind. You can make the trade of the season, switch from toilet paper, and start experiencing the confident clean of Dude Wipes. Available at Amazon and at major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes, best clean, pants down. These days, everybody's searching for ways to save on insurance, scrolling comparison sites, digging through tips, chasing deals, but Liberty Mutual makes it simple. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance to save you money. And when you bundle, those savings really come through. It's insurance built for real people with a team that goes above and beyond to help you keep more of what matters. No hunting, no hassle, just confidence that your coverage customized with savings in mind. Start your quote at
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant's Rant.
All right, Rhino, set me up to begin the week.
Ooh, Grant, I got no shortage of rants for you today. Why don't we just start off simple? Sergio Garcia going absolutely mental on the second hole of the final round, the tee box of the Masters, and then his smug press conference afterwards. Thinks he can do what he wants because he has a champion's exemption. That can be ripped from you, Sergio.
Yes, it can.
Don't forget that. Second, how about Mark Calcavecchia bringing his cell phone into the Masters on it was at the start of the tournament, thinking because he had won a tournament here and there, he snuck it on. He got kicked out. Didn't understand why. Also, lastly, Masters, patrons, golf fans, whatever it may be, Grant, when the ball goes outside of the fairway and into the crowd, why does everybody have to run to get around the ball? It makes no sense to me.
It's like a meteorite coming out of space.
Yes.
Oh, let's see what it looks like.
It's
a freaking golf ball.
It's
I've
free,
talked about this before.
Free money.
Of course. Yeah. All right. So I was looking on the internet. I'm going to follow this. I've got 2 rants for you today. So the first one is a Masters theme. So I'm on looking at social media and I'm like, this can't be. This can't be. So ESPN tries to use their show of First Take as these experts in other sports that don't start with the word F, football, and B, basketball. And it's embarrassing when they try to make it sound like they know what they're talking about, like golf. So I guess Stephen A. Smith, an NBA expert, Brian Windhorst, who I have a lot of respect for, by the way, are talking about the Masters. And can you believe this? Stephen A. was questioning whether McIlroy had an unfair advantage because of all of the practice rounds that he had at Augusta. What Smith doesn't realize is that if you qualify to play in the Masters, you have the course available to you to play practice rounds. Not unlimited, but if you have a member that also wants to take you out, you can play there every day if you want, if you are qualified to play in the Masters. So Rory going back and forth to Florida to get practice rounds in is not an unfair advantage because all of the other golfers in the field could have had practice rounds too. So get a little knowledge before you open up your mouth to make it sound like you really know what you're talking about when you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. All right, now we're going to have to switch the music off because I'm going to a different sport and a different topic. Doc Rivers out as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Is there a more overrated coach of his generation than Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers, I don't understand why is coveted by other NBA teams whenever he loses his job. The guy is so overrated. He's been overrated wherever he's been. Yeah, I think he leads all coaches in playoff utility and blowing 3-1 leads. He's also lost 4 3-2 leads. The guy's in-game coaching is terrible. He is always being criticized, and justifiably so, for his underachieving with teams, regardless of whether it was Orlando, whether it was in L.A. with the Clippers. They never made it out of the second round with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, whether it was Philly, we can just go on and on. Overrated. All right. Doc Rivers should never be on the sideline again of an NBA franchise. And there's probably some general manager out right now that thinks, oh, gee, he'll be perfect for my franchise. That's good. You hire that Doc Rivers. You hire him. You'll be unemployed before you know it. Doc Rivers, overrated. I've said that for years. Out as coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. And those are my rants for today.
We didn't even get through all the options. We still had more. So I'm driving in the car, right?
Yeah.
We're doing our stuff. I was already a little bit bugged that I was away from the couch on a Masters Saturday. So I'm like, all right, I'll throw it on Sirius. And Rory's teeing off on 17. And as soon as the club hits the ball, all I hear is, give me back my son.
Right.
And And I do a double take. I look at my wife and I'm like, "Did you just hear that?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Somebody just gave Rory a manual. Give me back my son." And they did. So that happened. How about Giannis? Okay. Now going back and forth, well, maybe there's a future here in Milwaukee. What about teams when they clean out their lockers, Grant? Have you ever caught this on Hard Knocks? Whenever it's like cleaning out day and it's exit interviews, stuff never goes into a duffel bag or a team bag. They go in black trash bags. I've never understood that. This is pro sports. You don't have a duffel bag?
I know. I'm with you on that too. I've never really understood that. I'm with you.
And what about the NBA this weekend? Over 180 players not active over the 2 game days.
It's embarrassing.
How about Orlando going into Boston with Boston resting their people, their players, and turning the ball over 19 times? And now instead of hosting a play-in game, you get to go to Philadelphia.
You know, it's a joke. The whole league is a joke. I mean, it really is. And they have a commissioner that has lost touch with reality. Speaking of the NBA and Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm going to make a prediction for you, okay? If the Knicks get upset in the first round by the Atlanta Hawks, or in their second round, they don't beat Boston, who, if they win their first round and Boston wins, that will be your matchup. They will go on a full court press to get Giannis Antetokounmpo from Milwaukee Bucks. And you'll be seeing the Greek Freak playing 41 times, assuming he's healthy, at Madison Square Garden next year.
What do the Knicks have, though? Asset-wise, they gave up 4 picks.
They can't give up Brunson, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just because Milwaukee.
They have players they can give up, but they can't give up Brunson.
I'm talking about draft capital. They gave up 4 first-round picks to get Bridges.
Yeah. Well, the Bucks, if they don't want Giannis Antetokounmpo, do you think that's the only way they're going to go? I mean, you think that it's going to have to be draft capital as well?
I think they want. So if you read the article last week that came out, and by the way, you know the plus of Doug Christie coming back next year per Sam Amick, we don't have to listen to Doc Rivers rumors. Just saying.
Well, good point right there.
But no,
that can change though if they get off to a bad start and Doc's available. You know that's gonna start surfacing, and I would just say no.
Yeah, I'm with you. They wanted a young player, somebody who was up and coming, and they wanted picks. And I just don't know on that Knicks team, outside of Brunson, who that young up and coming guy really is. I don't think Mitchell Robinson gets that deal done.
I don't know, but I'm just telling you, they're going to go on a full court press. They'll go on a full court press. You might have to have a third team involved.
You think Orlando's for sure gonna fire Mosley? I think they will.
do.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that now with Michael Malone out of the picture, I think Tom Thibodeau is going to be the leading candidate in Orlando. If there's a coaching vacancy.
Seems like it
and
would
if they lose to Philadelphia and they're out or they don't get into the show, they'll fire their coach and you'll see a full court press going on for Tom Thibodeau.
Seems like it would be a great fit. That team likes to play defense.
Yep.
Desmond
I think
Bane,
Tibbs would be great there.
Desmond Bane can do a lot more than just shoot. He defends.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that being a really good fit there. I'll tell you, the Knicks don't want to see that.
Mike Brown is getting some right now. Still. New York is nervous.
Well, this matchup with Atlanta, I think it's a little scary, to be honest.
It absolutely
The Hawks have been playing very well.
I don't like how the Knicks match up with the Hawks.
Mm-hmm. They're very athletic, and I could see this being a more than an easy series for the Knicks. And then assuming that Boston beats whoever they play, which we don't know yet because they're a 2 seed, they're going to be playing a a team that we don't know yet. But assuming Boston wins, and I think they will, and the Knicks beat Atlanta, then you have a rematch of last year, which the Knicks beat the Celtics. I don't think they beat them this year. I think the Celtics playing very well, won 8 of 10. They've now completely reacclimated themselves to Tatum. They're deep. There's a new look than the team last year because there were a lot of faces that were on the Celtics last year that won't be on this team. But Boston's playing very well. I think they'll beat the Knicks. I think they'll beat New York in a series this year.
I agree with you. I still am going to go back to that Atlanta-New York series because to me it's polarizing. So the Knicks are going to want to grind you down, and Atlanta's going to want to get up and down. And and I guess what I'm saying is it's almost like the other team's Achilles heel is the opposite of their styles. The Knicks don't want to get up and down like Atlanta does, and vice versa. Atlanta doesn't want to get into the half court. So that's going to be a very, very, very interesting one for me.
Absolutely. So the playoffs, we got the play-in first. So we got the play-ins, Philadelphia, Orlando, Charlotte, and Miami. So Philly plays Orlando. Charlotte plays Miami. The loser of Charlotte, Miami is done for the year. And then the winner will play the loser of the 7-8. So in the East, Philly and Orlando, the loser plays the winner of Charlotte, Miami. And in the West, Phoenix plays Portland. The winner is in. The loser plays the winner of the Clippers and the Warriors. Who do you think wins that game between the Clippers and the Warriors?
No one.
No one, huh?
Clippers. Steph doesn't look right to me. And
no, he doesn't.
He looks good still, but he doesn't look right. And beyond him, Draymond is not the same Draymond. I don't know. I don't see it.
You
for
like
the Warriors.
Phoenix to beat Portland?
It's a great question.
I think they do. I think they beat Portland, and they'll be the 7th seed. And then Portland, I'll tell you, I could see Portland beating the winner of the Clippers and the Warriors.
I could as well. I just
and the Phoenix Suns too, Rhino.
Yeah, 100%. I think both of those teams would be getting in that scenario. I guess with Phoenix, the size, dealing with Klingon, I don't know how they'll do that, but they're the better team. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
What about
At least, go ahead.
What about the Lakers and the Rockets? Are you buying into this? LeBron can get them through a series?
No chance.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know if they'll win a game. I'm serious.
No, I know. It might be if LeBron at, what is he, 42 now?
41, right?
41. If he could do that at 41, it would be one of his better accomplishments in the NBA to pull that Lakers team through to the second round.
And I'll tell you what else it will do. It will once again, for the critics out there, tarnish the legacy of Kevin Durant.
Ooh, explain.
Well, there are a lot of people like myself that feel that Durant's achievements have been on the coattails of other great players. And I'm not saying he hasn't been a great player because he's a generational type talent. But the reality is he didn't win anything until he joined a championship team that had already put banners up in the Warriors. And the reality is the Warriors won a championship, before Durant got there, and won a championship after he left. All right? What has Kevin Durant done in terms of team success where you looked at the guy and say, he's the reason why they won? You can say that about LeBron. He did it in Cleveland. You can say that about many other past champions in terms of, like, they were the man. As much as you rag on Giannis, and I understand why you do, he brought a championship to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Okay? Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Small market.
The man.
Yep.
Yes. What's Kevin Durant done in that regard? He's always gone to teams that had a built-in mechanism of winning already. And I don't think he's accomplished anything in his career in terms of some of the other greats and what they've accomplished. That's how I view him.
Oh, yeah, he has.
Wait a minute. Now, if you have the Houston Rockets that can't beat a Lakers team without Luka and without Austin Reeves, that's going to fall on the shoulders of Kevin Durant.
No doubt about it. I think, I mean, he hit a major three in the finals with the Warriors. I think he doesn't get enough credit for his early days bringing the Thunder to the finals. They just couldn't get over the hump there. But no, the path he has chosen has been the one of least resistance, and he still has not been able to get over. And
he had Westbrook and Harden on that team too.
That was such an interesting dynamic,
Yep.
him and Westbrook.
Think
at
about
that
all those
time.
players on the same team.
I mean, are the Thunder the best run small market team ever?
Yes. San Antonio would be knocking on their door because they would be like, whoa, hello, we got 5 championships. But like over the last 20 years, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would put them ahead of San Antonio.
Yeah. 1A, 1B.
Like you can't, is there a better run small market team than San Antonio in professional sports?
No. Well, no.
No, serious. Now they were also very, very lucky. I mean, that's the whole thing with the NBA. You get number one on a year where there's a franchise-changing player like David Robinson or Tim Duncan or Victor Wembanyama. I'm sorry, that's luck. That's not like that. That's luck. You don't think that Tim Duncan being drafted number one by another franchise would bring them to great heights?
True. And they also saw Kawhi later in the first round.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a case of being lucky and being just very, very well ran as well. But small markets, yeah, they're up there. You got to throw Indiana in the list.
I can't put Indiana on the list.
I mean, if we're going,
I can't put them with, well, they don't have a championship.
But if we're going to put like the 5 best small markets, I think.
Yeah, but you didn't say that. You said I can't put them on that same list as San Antonio.
Yes, you're right.
Or Oklahoma City yet.
Fair enough. Oh, by the way, we did get a rant suggestion from Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
And it was about his playing partner on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Throwing off his pace and his rhythm.
Yeah.
That was
well,
awful.
when you get when you get 10s on holes and scores like that, it would affect you a little bit.
I felt like that changed the tournament. Even though Scotty went on that little run.
Yep.
But it's so
that was unfortunate. That's bad luck if you're Scotty Scheffler. That's bad luck.
No doubt about it. And to think about with all that, one stroke, like if you're a golfer and it's an individual sport, can you imagine thinking back to all the various strokes that probably haunt you when you finish one behind?
I personally feel Justin Rose had a better chance to win a green jacket this year than Scotty Scheffler. I really do. I mean, if I'm looking at Justin Rose's back nine, he's rolling until he gets to Amen Corner. And the Amen Corner was a disaster for him.
Yeah.
In terms of having everything right there. And, you know, the chip on number 12 that he flubbed, you know, he had not a hard chip. He flubbed. He did the same thing on 13. I mean, where he was on in 2. He's putting for eagle.
Right.
All right. Putting for eagle and gets a 5. You can't putt for eagle. And it wasn't like it would have been a heck of a putt, but it wasn't like you're on the other side of the green.
No, it was like 19, 20 feet.
Yeah, you can't get a 5 there. Yeah. And he had so many opportunities like to be right there and take the lead, and he lost it. They were talking about what a moment this would be. McIlroy standing on the 12th tee box, or excuse me, the 12th green, while Justin Rose is putting for eagle. And the announcers were talking about, wow, this could be the next moment or two here, could really decide what we're going to see here. McIlroy putting for birdie, Rose putting for eagle.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I always say, what if? But, if Justin Rose makes that eagle putt, the momentum that gives him and everything else, you still won back if Rory makes the birdie putt. But, you would have heard the huge roar all the way from the 12th green, or the 12th green from the 13th green. Rory would have known what happened. And maybe that changes that putt a little bit.
It's a great point.
How about the meltdown? How about that decision to hit driver on 18 by McIlroy? And Trevor Immelman, in the booth with Jim Nance. Nance asked him about that. He goes, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with it. Like, I know it's Rory McIlroy, but you have a 2-shot lead, and you're taking driver out on the 18th. Like, I just don't understand that. Like, the only thing that can kill you there is your driver going astray. He got very lucky that ball did not end up with a shot that he would have had to punch out. You saw the 18th, right?
Yeah.
The drive off to the right.
Yeah.
Trevor Immelman actually thought he was going to play the ball up to 10th fairway. But instead, he hooked the shot into the front bunker. And then he hits out of the bunker and only has to 2-putt. But that was not an easy second shot. I don't care who you are.
No. And under the circumstances, I just think he was at that perfect intersection. And I know you watched the Rory thing on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Where, it mentally, if you're scaling it back, if you're playing not to lose, he was at that perfect spot because he was lacing the driver. But that shot on 12, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then the drive on 13, they were saying might have been his best drive of the tournament. And then his approach on 13 went over the green. So, I mean, he had laced his drive. But you're right, that was maybe the shot of the tournament for him, that shot that he hit on that par 3 12th, which so many Masters have been decided from the tee box there. And it was as good as any shot that he hit all week.
Yep, absolutely. And Cam Young, man, if you can make a putt, you're right there, Cam.
Yep.
Just could not make one.
2 runner-ups in majors for him.
So refreshing to see somebody that hesitates at the top of their swing.
I know. Yep. It's interesting. His swing he's got that little pause at the top of the swing.
If you look at his body, he's different. Like when you see him standing next to McIlroy, his legs are longer than his torso, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which changes the way you address the ball. So,
hey, as we go to the break, I keep on getting this. Grant, with all your years calling Kings games, what's the scariest moment you ever had on the air when a player got seriously hurt, like the injury that made you pause or wonder if the game should ever continue? I never got to that point where I was thinking, gee, will the game continue or not? Rudy's Achilles injury under the basket sticks out to me. Chris Webber going down in the Dallas series sticks out to me. But not to a point where will the game continue or not. I never was in that situation where somebody's life was on the line, where they had to be resuscitated, or there was not a Hank Gather situation or, anything of that nature. So never to a point where I was wondering if the game would continue. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back. This is Grant Napear on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Building friendships and bonding with family. It's what people experience during a day out at Golden State Shooting Center. Only moments outside of Sacramento. Golden State Shooting Center is a favorite for those who love the sport of trap, skeet, and sporting clay target shooting. It's also where the California Youth Sport Shooting Association trains and competes. New teams are being formed, and if you've got a son or daughter in high school, they can compete for college scholarships. Learn more at goldenstateshootingcenter.com or call 916-539-8544.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal
How about that? The replica of the 7th, 14th, and 16th greens.
I'd be on 16 all day.
I was on 16 a lot. Yeah. I tell you, thank goodness they didn't have the water near the 16th green, because on one of my putts, my ball would have rolled off into the water.
I'm sure you wouldn't have been the first one had that happen.
Yeah.
Question for you. Was the food free at the 5 different restaurants?
Yes.
Interesting.
It came with your badge. And the food was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 15.
What'd you end up going for?
I don't even remember, other than at one place, I had a New York strip.
Oh.
And then I was like, well, this is all free, so I got to figure out how I can, like, save room for this. I went to another place that was serving top-of-the-line Mexican food, and I think I had some tacos, which were as good as any tacos I've ever had. But they had seafood, they had lobster, they had. I did get king crab. I had to have some king crab. Yeah, no, it's top shelf. Yeah.
Can you imagine how much money they would make if you could pay just to take one putt on any of those 3 greens?
Oh my gosh! And again, the stimp meter on these greens are the exact same as on the golf course. They're mowed by the same tractors. It's the same grounds crew, the same everything. It's all the same.
So I watched a YouTube video about Augusta where somebody in the know takes the overhead Google Maps shot of the property, and they showed the 3 greens that are attached to Breckman's. They're outdoor, so they just put a tent over it. And they showed what you said, basically, where you can't even see that Breckman's is over there.
No, you don't even know.
You would have no idea. Yeah. So.
Right. Yep. Hey, by the way, here we are on Monday. Your homework assignment, was it completed this weekend or not? Did you watch the end of Cool Hand Luke?
No.
Oh, my gosh. See, I spend, all right, I'm like, okay. I told Ryan I'm going to watch the documentary on McIlroy winning the Masters last year on Prime Video. I did that. I even sent you a message. Hey, by the way, I'm watching the video of McIlroy on Prime Video. I did that.
I know.
And so I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you in return, are you watching Cool Hand Luke? I'm like, no, we're going to address this on the radio. So what's your excuse now?
I don't have an excuse. I was watching the Masters.
Oh, you're watching the Masters. So the Masters goes on 24 hours a day. Is that correct?
Well, no. If you spend that much time in front of the TV on a weekend, then you got to make up for it in other ways.
Oh, wait a minute. You told me you were watching Cool Hand Luke with the family. It's a family thing. It's not like you're like taking away from family time.
Yeah, but the 11-year-olds sometimes want to watch other things. We ended up watching.
No.
I know. I don't rule my house
This text
the way
says it all. Ryan,
live.
you are a procrastinator. 100% correct. No, that's on our chat line over on YouTube. That's the best message that I've received today. You are a procrastinator.
Grant,
that's the passport, watching Cool Hand Luke. It's a freaking joke. Don't even watch it anymore. Don't even watch it.
Stop it. It's so far against the way I am professionally. I don't know why I'm procrastinating. It's not directly. I ended up watching a trash movie. It was like Five Nights at Freddy's because my son wanted to watch something scary. Yeah, my bad. I'll make up for it now. I will.
Even Dorian said he watched Shawshank Redemption and he was going to send you a picture, Ryan.
Anything else we need to call me?
Yeah,
to the
what about the
carpet
passport? We got a passport yet?
No passport.
No
yet.
passport.
No.
No passport, no Cool Hand Luke, no Shawshank Redemption. No, nothing. Nothing. Although I will say this, Ryan has done a marvelous job getting out to the arena today for work, getting all the sound, getting it ready to go for my show. So you know what? That is a priority, and I give you an A+ for that.
Appreciate that, buddy.
No problem.
Yeah. And we'll do the second half tomorrow. because we only got half of it.
Okay. And what about Cool Hand Luke? When do you think you may watch the conclusion of that? Is there any possibility of that happening this week?
Yes, I will 100% have Cool Hand Luke in the backpack and done by the show on Wednesday.
Oh,
Hands down.
Dorian said Bennett's probably isn't going to happen.
Dang, man. All right. I'll show you guys.
By the way, the documentary that you asked me to watch was good. It was very good.
Glad you liked it.
I did.
I
thought it was very well
right
done.
up your alley.
I thought it was very well done. It's just priceless when you have the videos from your childhood playing golf, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
Yeah. Wasn't he amazing as a little boy golfing? It was like, oh my gosh.
So good. And I didn't understand the backstory of his parents and the sacrifice they made.
Yeah. Yep.
To
amazing.
let him play the way he did. So pretty cool
don't
stuff.
Don't forget 7:00 tonight. In about 90 minutes from now, I'll be over on YouTube and X with my Open Forum Monday show. Okay, here's one for you. What are the Prize Picks odds on Rhino watching Cool Hand Luke by next Wednesday? It's a great point.
Oh, by next Wednesday? I said
Yeah.
by this Wednesday. Next Wednesday would be like minus 720.
Really?
Which means
Wow.
you would have to put $100 down to get it'd be minus 720. Anyways. All right.
Yeah. By the way, the rules you were talking about, Mark Calcavecchia, that was before the tournament began. Tournament week, though, on the grounds of the Masters, and he got sent out of Augusta. He was done, even though he had won in the past. How about that? So you brought up the reason why I'm bringing that up is Sergio's outburst on the tee box is looked upon by those at the Masters as such a big no-no.
Oh, yeah.
And his post-game press conference was embarrassing.
It's awful.
Or post-match press conference.
Do you remember how we were talking about once, the years go by and Jack and everybody that does the not temporary, Watson and gosh, I can't think of the last.
You're talking about what you're talking about what?
The tee off to start the Masters.
Yeah, the ceremonial first tee shot with Nicholas Watson and Gary Player.
Bingo. Tiger and Rory have cemented their spots into that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
no question.
So we'll see who the third is, but yeah,
it's a great question. Yeah, maybe Scotty Scheffler when you forecast down the road.
Good one,
right?
Yeah, really good. Phil
for sure. Yep, probably Phil, but we'll see.
All right.
Yeah, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, now that the Masters is in the rearview mirror, the tournament, I'm going to give a 10. The fact that McIlroy had a 6-shot lead going into Saturday, and that lead was gone, that was unbelievable how quickly things changed on Saturday. And at times yesterday, it did not look like McIlroy was going to win. I mean, that front nine, and you're like, whoa, boy, did this thing change in a hurry. But that amen corner, things started to move in his direction, and you had some other players miss fire on their putts and shots, and it kind of changed everything right back into McIlroy's lap. And to his credit, he was able to hold on. But I thought it was a great Masters. I thought it was incredible. Listen, when you have the world's #1 player make the turn, and he's right in the hunt, and he had some amazing momentum, through really, he did not take advantage of the par fives this weekend.
No.
But that's the one thing that really hurt him. But after the 13th and what he was able to do on 15 and on 16, with the birdie, and he had a birdie putt on 17 that he just missed, which was the toughest hole of the week. He was right there. So was Justin Rose. Justin Rose is going to kill himself for the way he played on that back nine yesterday.
He is just everybody wants to see him win a Masters on those grounds after how close, I guess I should say, he's been. I thought it was a 10 out of 10 as well. And I only came away thinking about Tiger Woods because Rory joined the list of the 4 players to go back to back.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And what you said about Scheffler, they said it on the broadcast. He's the first player since 42, or as far as they can go back and get the records, who did not bogey a hole on the weekend.
On the weekend. That's pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. All right. So you made a comment to me on Thursday about the ease of the course. Do you change your opinion after watching the whole weekend?
No.
Okay. How come so many golfers were in the black and not in the red?
Nerves.
Nerves?
Nerves.
So you think the best golfers in the world were all affected by nerves?
I thought there was some bad play, honestly. Look at the guy that Scheffler was playing with. Multiple guys. Rory even had a couple of doubles, and they weren't like anything where it's like up and down. He just missed 2 easy putts, right? Like,
there are no easy putts at Augusta. That's the point I'm trying to make. There are no easy putts unless it's a tap-in.
Okay, so then what changed to where Rory's at minus 12 going into the weekend and minus 12 wins the tournament?
What changed?
Yes.
Sunday pin placements, speeds of the green becoming even quicker with no rain. Obviously, then you do factor in to the nerves on the back nine at Augusta. I'm not saying that doesn't come into play, but like for every member in the field no. I mean, these are players that play in majors, that play in golf tournaments of this magnitude all the time. And I'm not saying that pressure doesn't factor into it, but what about the players that aren't in contention that wouldn't have those same type of nerves because they know they're not going to win the green jacket, that are still having trouble scoring very well? Like, look at Shane Lowry yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Look at some of the other who have won majors before, who weren't in contention when they stepped onto the 10th hole. At that point, they're just trying to navigate the golf course, and the golf course was playing very difficult. I mean, it just was.
Now, you know what? I will concede it did get much harder on Saturday and Sunday, but I think there is still a counterpoint on the back end of that. Even if you're not in contention for the green jacket and you're playing on the weekend at the Masters, I still think there's a decent amount of nerves.
All right, so here is your other homework assignment. All right. Well, no, you know what? I can't load you up. No, I can't do it.
Come on, man.
No, can't do it.
You're going to hit me with that simple 1-2 punch.
Get your passport first. Watch the final hour of Cool Hand Luke, and then we'll do it. All right. I can't do that to you. I'm putting too much on you. You got going out to the arena. You getting sound. It's whatever the WWE event. Like, your whole life is a mess.
Well, apparently there's a rumor that we might have Scott Perry tomorrow. So that will not play into Cool Hand Luke. It's going to be, I will be transparent. It will be Monday Night Raw first tonight. Then it'll be Cool Hand Luke. So it's not going to be first, though.
Fair enough. All right. We'll come back, I should say, and wrap up the show on this busy Monday. Next, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Final segment here on a busy Monday. Looking forward to being with you in about an hour plus from now over on YouTube and X with my open forum show. So we always talk about like must-win games. Tonight is a must-win game if you're a hockey fan and you're a fan of the San Jose Sharks. They're in Nashville, and they are hanging on by a thread. They have not been eliminated yet with 3 games left, but if they lose tonight, they will not be in the playoffs. So they absolutely have to win this game tonight against Nashville. And then we talk about, like, bold moves, right? And we talk about, like, why would a team do this? Why would a team make a change at the coaching position with only a handful of games left? We saw it last year in the NBA with Michael Malone. So the Vegas Golden Knights fired their coach that they won a Stanley Cup with 2 seasons ago, Bruce Cassidy. Since John Tortorella has come in, they beat Vancouver in his first game 4-2. They beat Calgary 6-3. They went to Edmonton, who was in first place at the time, and beat Edmonton 5-1. They went up there and smoked them. Then they went to Vancouver and won 2-1. Then they went to Seattle. They got 1 point, but they lost in a shootout, 4-3. And then over the weekend, they concluded their 4-game road trip by going into Colorado, who had the best record in the National Hockey League, and beat them in overtime 3-2. Think about that. John Tortorella, in 6 games as the new head coach of Vegas, has not lost a game in regulation and has already picked up 11 points in 6 games. That's a maximum of 12 available. Vegas, under John Tortorella, has 11 of a possible 12 points, and they're playing Winnipeg tonight, and then they wrap up the season against Seattle with a 1-point lead now in the division. So, Ryan, sometimes things work out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is beyond just a new head coach bump, right, Grant? It's
beyond what?
Just a new head coach bump where you get a little, we talked about it last week, where you're going to get a couple wins because you changed things up. It seems like things are working out with Vegas.
So far, so good with 2 games left. But the Sharks right now, no score at the end of 1. How about the A's in home tonight? Luis Severino is on the hill. So I hope you go to West Sacramento and check out a team that's won 5 in a row. Eovaldi and Severino, the matchup. Texas and the Athletics are tied atop the American League West right now at 8-7. So listen, this is great. I know that there are a lot of people that are disgruntled and they're unhappy, blah, blah, blah. I get all of that. I can't get into that every night. All I'm going to talk about is the team that's playing here, on a temporary basis, is playing very well right now, and be interested to see what the crowds are like this week, Rhino.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think there is a little bit of an excitement, like I said, brewing for this team. Sacramento's a good baseball town.
It's an excellent baseball town. Always has been. Always has been. So good job by the A's. Great road trip going 5-1. Typical baseball. Play on the East Coast and play the next night. No day off, right?
That's day
baseball
off
for you.
Oh, my gosh. Huh? Yeah, that's right. No day off.
Yeah. That's baseball for you.
I mean,
that's baseball for you.
It's the only sport that you can really do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Absolutely. Yep. So A's and the Rangers begin a series tonight. The A's after a lopsided road schedule to start the season. And that's the other thing. Although you could make the argument that, home was not kind to them, last year. But when you look at the A's and you look at what they've already done in this season and their lopsided schedule, they've only had 3 games at home and they've had 12 on the road.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy, Ryan?
Yeah. It's going to come around for them like you're laying out at some point. They've got to take advantage of that.
The problem is, last year at home, they did not capitalize on that. And
right.
they absolutely, need to do that. They absolutely need to play much better at home. Now, their only home series, they beat Houston 2 of 3, but here's their schedule just coming up here for the rest of this month. All right, they've got 4 games with Texas, then 3 games with the White Sox. Then they're on the road for 3 in Seattle and then 3 in Texas before closing out the month at home with the Kansas City Royals before they get to May 1st against Cleveland. So that's your A's schedule.
Well, coming off of what they did on the road, you would think since there was only one homestand against the Astros that interest should be high right now. So we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, and here's a Memorial Day, Seattle at home, then Seattle on Tuesday, Seattle on Wednesday, then the Yankees are in town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the last weekend of May. That's going to be a heck of a week.
That is going to be a big week. You going to go out to the ballpark, buddy?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. And then you have San Francisco, who is also coming in on the middle of May, about a month from now. They're on the weekend of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, May 15th, 16th, and 17th. So
That'll be
the
a big
place will
one.
be jumping for that.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You know what else is jumping? It's Prize Picks.
Yes.
Man, what a fun weekend. I know the NBA is winding down, but the beautiful thing about Prize Picks is there's over 100 different sports that you can have fun with on America's #1 daily fantasy site. Super simple. All you do, you're not playing against other people. You're not playing against sharks. You're playing against the numbers. That's why I love it so much. You pick 2 to 6 players and you choose more or less on their stat predictions for the night. If you were following this weekend, I played some of the Masters and parlayed that with some basketball. Really, really good weekend on Prize Picks. What you got to do is join me. Download the Prize Picks app using the code RYNO50, RYNO50, to get $50 in free play after you play your first $5 lineup. I love all the people that have been following me. I will follow you back. I'll shout you out here on the radio. And come get on the winnings with our lineups. Tonight, I'm going Aaron Judge, more than half of a home run, which has already happened, and Shohei Ohtani, more than half of a home run. So download the app, use the code Rhino50. Let's have some fun. Prize Picks.
Wow, look at you going for the long ball.
The long ball.
Speaking of the
is good.
Yankees and Angels are tied 4-4 in the top of the 5th.
The long ball has been very good to me.
Yes. Dodgers, Mets. The Mets have been awful. They're 7-9. And as you said, the Dodgers at home tonight. So you need a home run by Ohtani. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
One by
All
Ohtani.
right.
And we're $10 wins you 72.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you said Judge has already done that. He got it out of the way early for you in the first inning.
I thought that was so polite of him.
Yes, I just want you to know he took care of it early. He wanted to make sure that he wanted to say, hey, thank you for your confidence in me. Let's get this done early.
You know why? Because I don't say that team's name anymore that's up north. I say that team up north.
It's a great point.
So, yeah.
That's
Thanks,
right.
Aaron.
The team north of New York. By the way, that team north of New York is getting blown out right now by the Twinkies. It is 11-3 in favor of the Twins. So if you're keeping score at home, I'm keeping score by moving over a couple of seats in about an hour from now on YouTube and X, my open forum Monday. Hope you can join me. For Rhino in Sacktown, Grant Napear, stay safe. Make it a great evening. And thanks for listening to the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye now.
Jackson Rancheria. Let's go.
Jackson. Dust off your leg warmers and light up the night. It's time for our Bingo Glow Show, the 17th. With over $10,000 in prizes, the stakes have never looked so bright. Score a cash jackpot of $1,199. Let's glow.
Let's go.
Fire up those taste buds with a new kitchen gadget, a hot dog roller, cast iron fajita plate, or even a burger press with a cheese melting dome. Earn 1,000 points on your Dreamcatchers Club card, and you'll score that week's gift, Thursdays or Fridays, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Let's eat.
Everybody knows Jackson's where you go.